Hello, I'm Jeddah Mali, the founder of Intelligent Life. For many years, I've been giving talks and presentations, running teaching courses on the design of life, and looking at the structure, the nature, and the function of the foundation of life, the energy of which it's made, and how that relates to human experience. In this series of talks, we touch on some of these subjects. I hope you enjoy these materials. Now we want to think about creating the conditions for positive change, because as I said before, we cannot tackle this thing by the knees and take it down. It doesn't work. We all know the phrase, what we resist persists. And it's also important to see that we're not deliberately perverse in our thinking and behaviors. Unconscious, unhelpful, unwise habits, they develop little by little in response to us trying to cope with life. And even if we can't clearly see that we'd be better off without them, we cannot attack ourselves in the process of trying to remove them. Okay, so we need to love them into abeyance, and that's the only way we can release anything we no longer want, even partners that we've grown apart from, or houses that we've outgrown. So before we can do that, we need to create the conducive conditions within our own being. And that means practicing acceptance, understanding, compassion, and forgiveness towards our being and the habit itself, which we very often don't do. We just so intent on eliminating it. It never occurs to us to actually be accepting, understanding, compassionate, and forgiving towards the habit itself. So these four qualities, they dissolve all resistance. And perhaps you've worked with one or some of them before and you've seen that for yourself. They are miraculous in dissolving resistance. And it is resistance that prevents us from releasing the thinking and the behaviors bound up in our habits. So the energetics of acceptance, understanding, compassion, and forgiveness, they dramatically change our perception of who we are within the big picture of existence. And it's that reorientation that gives us the conditions which allow us to release that which we no longer want to do. So once we start to see ourselves as existence sees us, then we can move into love. So love is that energy which reconfigures or transforms or heals or soothes. And it does it completely, and it does it elegantly. So you can use it to release anything you no longer want or need. And of course that sounds exciting, especially to spiritual seekers who spend half their life trying to release things they no longer want or need and to grow. But this comes with a caveat, otherwise it would just be too easy for everyone to do it. The acceptance, the understanding, the compassion, the forgiveness, of course the love, they need to be genuine. And that's where we get caught in a loop. How can I love the things that I secretly don't even like? And how can I release the aspects of self that are woven in to my negative perception of self? And so it's all tangled up in there. And it's very hard for us to step into that place where we can be absolutely genuine in our acceptance, understanding, compassion, and forgiveness. So these qualities, to be able to express them, one needs to be able to sit within one's being in such a way, orientate one's consciousness within one's being in such a way as there is absolutely no blame And there's absolutely no disregard, disrespect, disapproval of one's being, of oneself. And that is why habits persist. That is the bottom line of why any habit persists, is because the conditions for releasing them are not genuinely met. Because what I've just described, being able to sit within one's being in a place with zero blame, zero judgment, zero condemnation, but only see one's being with kindness and generosity, this is sadly a very rare condition within human beings. And of course, it's not completely off limits. It can be done with gentle and patient practice. One little trick, I'm not really that big on tricks, but one little trick which can be helpful, especially if you're tackling a very stubborn habit, is to strengthen the areas around your thinking and behaviors that are woven into the habit without taking on the habit itself initially. And that gives you some early wins and helps you become confident with your abilities. So, give you an example. I wanted to give up drinking tea. I would say it was probably a habit. I was doing it every morning, so it probably qualifies as a habit. And I wanted to give up drinking tea, and I found it very difficult. And I tried unsuccessfully for years. I'd give it up for a bit, then I'd go back to it. And I was very curious. Why is it I keep drinking tea? What is it that tea is, why is it so important that I can't drink something else? There's plenty other options on the market, And then I came upon this idea that you work around it. So instead of trying to give up tea, which I had, really thrown myself at a number of occasions, I made a conscious decision not to give up tea, but to apply myself to be much more disciplined with my diet in every other area, because that was easier. There was no resistance, there was no struggle with the other areas. And so I applied myself there, and you know how the story is going to end. When you strengthen those areas, it supports you in such a way as tea left me. I didn't have to leave it, it left me. And so it's a happy ending. So we can work in this way. You don't have to, if you feel it's something that's going to really give you a run for your money, then you can work around it and strengthen the areas around it. And of course, the qualities that I've mentioned, the approach that we're going to practice today, that works on the smaller things too. So you can use it to strengthen good habits. You can also use it to release unwanted habits. Okay. If you do that roundabout version, though, of course, you'll still need to go through the inquiry questions we posed earlier and employ the 4 qualities and the energy of love to completely remove the central habit. But the pre-approach will help you move forward if you think you're going to get very stuck. Because if you've still got a habit that you know you don't want, there's a reason you haven't tackled it yet. Yeah? There's a reason that habit is still with you and that you've managed to work on other things, but this one is still with you. So there's something within, rooted into your psychology, your self-perception, that this habit is still with you. All right, let's practice now and see how we can work with these habits. So this is the point where you can close your eyes, put down your pens and paper. And this is the way we work on releasing habits without encountering the resistance to the changes that you'd like to bring in. Okay? So first thing, choose the habit that you'd like to work with. And of course, if it's the same one that you've already used in the exercise earlier, then you'll already have a handle on the thinking, the behaviors, the identity, etc. And if you've chosen something else, then you might need to take a moment to orientate yourself within this particular habit. And really start to see the self. Really start to see how the identity self has made a story with this particular habit. That there will be some narrative, whether it's subterranean or blatantly obvious to you. That somehow, somewhere within your being, you will have answered the question already without even realizing you've done it. Who am I with this habit? There will be some kind of assessment. That assessment may also tip over into judgment, blame, condemnation, all very strong tendencies. Even if it's just mild irritation or disapproval, there's actually still quite a strong pattern for your being to express. So just notice how this habit has found its way into your relationship with yourself. And very often, this is one of the reasons why we find it difficult to let go of the habit, which is the thinking and behaviors. The habit is the scapegoat. It's covering up the dysfunctional relationship with self. So all of our attention goes into the thinking, the speech, the behaviors. And it distracts us from looking at what's really happening, which is the self-talk, self-perceptions, the assumptions, the beliefs, the conclusions that we are carrying around within us. So just notice, just notice. Okay. Now you're going to give yourself space. So you've noticed your being. You've noticed that this being has a habit. You've noticed that this habit is tugging on or causing disruption to your relationship to self. And that there are some hard and fast ideas about who you are because you do this thing. Even if it's a mental habit, you're still doing it. And also there may be bound up in that a sense of helplessness. If that's there, notice that too. Notice whether you feel powerless to change, unequal to the task. Now give yourself space. So visualize around you, around the presence of this habit in your life, more space. We tend to, when we get into these perceptions of self that are less than favorable, we tend to feel cramped. This is part of why we feel stuck. To give yourself more space. Just visualize it. Just create it. It's there. You're not claiming it. Just what we did in the beginning, noticing that it's there. All right. Now, with a little more space, you have more room to move, literally and figuratively. And see if you can just practice acceptance. Now, we're not suggesting that you say to yourself, I accept that this habit is with me and I'm not going to do anything about it. That's not the purpose of today's session. We are going to do something about it, but we're just going to say, in this moment, I just accept that this beingness currently employs this habit. Take it out of the personal. If it's too painful for you to contemplate. This beingness is currently employing this habit. Just accept. Absolutely no judgment, no condemnation. Just notice. Be impartial. And just notice that acceptance just softens everything. It just takes away the rigidity, the resistance, which prevents us getting into something and being able to make a change. It's like soaking a cooking pan that's got baked on food. You leave it in the water for a couple of hours, the job's much easier. Acceptance is like that. Now bring understanding into the picture. And this is where you start to see this habit in the light of the questions we asked ourselves earlier. What is it trying to give me? What is it trying to tell me? What is it trying to show me? So instead of pushing the habit away, draw it towards you. Maybe even have a conversation with it. What are you trying to help me notice here? What are you bringing my attention to? And like all contractive sensations, they're actually on our side. Actually trying to assist us to understand ourselves better. So instead of a knee-jerk reaction of just pushing something away, just assuming it's universally bad, just reach out, pull it towards you and examine it with fresh eyes. And now pull in compassion. See yourself, you're a beautiful being. How do I know that? Because we're all beautiful beings. We're all made from the same energy. All made the same way. Not one of us has been given any more than another. So this beautiful being that we are, it's not trying to hurt itself. It's not trying to be negative. It's trying to do its best. To just be a little gentler with yourself. Is it really the end of the world that you have a habit, no matter how much you've decided it is. No. Give yourself a little more space. See it in the context of the whole. I'm not suggesting you need to keep it, just saying perhaps you could be a little kinder. And if this habit is there as the scapegoat to show you something about your relationship with yourself that you haven't seen thus far, then isn't your being clever to have fashioned it in the first place? There's some intelligence at work here. So see if you can let yourself off the hook. See if you can view this habit without needing to condemn yourself for having it. Just completely change the angle of your perception. And then finally, bring in forgiveness. Bring in forgiveness. And the energy of forgiveness is the energy of saying to oneself, I no longer wish to criticize you, blame you, condemn you, attack you. Just see with the eyes of forgiveness. Just see your essential innocence. Nobody sets out to give themselves a bad time. And with acceptance, understanding, compassion, and forgiveness comes the willingness to let go. They're all characterized by the willingness to let go. See if you can let go. Let go of the perception of self. Let go of the story of who you are with this habit. See if you can let go of the whole narrative around being either helpless or weak or bad or wrong or whatever it is. Whatever the trip is that you've laid on yourself. See if you can also let go of your reaction and your response, the disappointment, the disapproval. Can you let go of that? And then finally, see if you can let go of always seeing yourself with this habit. Because in truth, in order for us to move on, we have to be able to visualize who we are and how we move in the world without it. That has to be a possibility if we want to actualize it. So that's the work that we can do internally. Let go of seeing ourselves with this in our life. Okay, let's put all that together now and just practice love of self. What does that feel like? To look through your eyes internally at oneself, to let consciousness rest within you in those places where you look with the eyes of kindness, You look with the eyes of gentleness. You look with the eyes of love. And when you look from this place, lo and behold, that is what you see. So just practice that. When you look from love, you see love. So let your conscious eyes rest within you. Now extend that love to the habit. And here you may feel some version of acceptance, understanding, compassion, and forgiveness welling up as well. Just love the habit for the attention it has brought to this particular aspect of your life. We are not always as kind as we could be towards those important messengers in our life that point out things which are uncomfortable. So we often castigate the habit. We don't thank it for what it's bringing to our attention. And then just notice, take a moment to notice how you feel. What do you feel you can manage now? What do you think is possible now? And turn all of that energy into visualizing how you do want to be. So the new, i.e., chosen thinking and behaviors. The new, chosen identity. The new, chosen self-perception. Just let that coalesce, let it come out of you. It's there in potential form, it's there as a kind of template within your soul and your higher self. So now you've seen that you have the freedom, you have that ability to move towards that which you do want. What is it that you choose? And see yourself, feel yourself. What is the thinking I choose? What is the feeling I choose? What is the words that I choose? What is the behaviors, the actions I choose? And notice perception of self. Notice the attitude towards your being. Notice the sense of capability, the sense of freedom, possibility. Now just let that coalesce, let it integrate into your being, and see if you can welcome that version right the way through your field. So see if your heart can express it. See if your mind can express it. See if your feeling life can express it. See if it can go down into your physical. How does your physical body feel to express the choices that you've made for yourself? And notice that there's a very different narrative when we feel we have choice and we demonstrate our choice. We actualize our choice. And then from this place, look to the past. Whether you see the past as being behind you or to the left of you, however you visualize it, doesn't matter. But look down the line of time into the past. And just see the little journey of transformation that you've just completed. So there wasn't a big shift externally. You didn't have to rearrange the characters of your life. You didn't have to rearrange your marital arrangements. We didn't have to rearrange your bank account balance. We didn't have to change the political party or the weather or your wardrobe or how much you weigh. We didn't have to do any of that. They simply invited you to take charge of your being and utilize the freedom that is inherent within you. Okay, and the last thing that we're going to do is invite you to imagine your being with only those thoughts, feelings, experiences, and behaviors that you choose from a place of remembering, a place of alignment, a place of knowingness, a place of kindness and love. So just feel what it would feel like if that were the totality of our being, that all of our choices were ones that served us and the world around us. We're so used to seeing ourselves as some kind of broken version. What does it feel like when all your choices are healthy? And notice that the being you become, the beingness you express, when you really allow that, is perhaps something that far exceeds what you thought you could reasonably expect of yourself. And you start to see that that potential is within you. Otherwise, you couldn't call it up. You couldn't work with it. You couldn't actualize it. If it weren't there, it is there. It's up to us to utilize it, to express it. Now, cast your mind's eye back to when you were first contemplating the habit that you chose to work with today, just to get a comparison on how different the internal state is when you see yourself as someone with a habit that you've got to overcome, and you see yourself as a limitless being that has the capability to actualize any potential you choose. And you see not so much that the habits are keeping us, but that we are keeping them. And the underlying foundation of whether we see ourselves as somebody one way or another is really our perception of ourselves. So the ball is in our court. This is a very good thing. Now, last thing we're going to do is just kiss goodbye to the habit. Thank it. Appreciate it. And then kiss it goodbye. Just see it dissolve and let go. It's done its work. It's made you conscious. It's like the postman just delivers the letter and then goes away again, doesn't camp out on your doorstep. The habit has done its job. Thank it, and we release it. We extract the understanding from it it was trying to give us. And once we have that understanding, once we make use of it, we really get it, not just say that we do. This is not a mental exercise. Then the habit dissolves of its own accord. Very good. Okay, just again, encourage your being to assimilate what we've practiced today. Just feel that your energy field is able to take up these new impressions. Allow them to continue. Do not need to fall back into any previous version of yourself. So allow those impressions to be registered in your heart, your mind, your emotions, your body. So feel all those aspects of yourself coming on board and saying, yeah, I'll run with this. Why not? Feels good. Thank you. And of course, you're going to have to update your identity in the process. Any change which is registered in the field needs to have a corresponding change in the identity.